Hey, I am so glad you are here. It is December. Can you guys believe that we are already moving through December, getting close to the holidays? This month, if you use our curriculum, you're playing skillfully. I want to talk to you about the character trait. Man, it's one that's probably the most important one or one of, and it's kindness. Kindness is what we want to talk about today. How do we establish a home and encourage kindness so that we raise these children up to be kind and loving adults? Y'all, if we can accomplish this, I think we're going to have some life changers, some world changers on our hands. Helping children learn that kindness really is one of the most important character traits out there. Man, I've had some kindness in my days. Probably the most recent, obviously, is when Joshua was diagnosed with cancer. And the people that showed up and rallied around our family and showed kindness, it struck me, and it wasn't necessarily the people that I thought was going to show up for us that showed up, but they did. And they made meals and they sent notes and they called and they checked in. And that meant the world to me. And kindness is something I feel like if we're really trying to get children to understand kindness, you got to be kind to yourself, right? You've got to set the stage for kindness from the get go. I remember telling some friends of mine they were younger and they were dating, and I remember telling them, I said, listen, if you want to see the kind of man that you're about to go out with, watch the way they interact with people who can't offer them anything other than maybe service. Like, watch the way they treat a wait staff or the staff at the hotel or the delivery person that comes in. Watch the way they treat someone when something doesn't go their way. Watch. You learn so much about someone's kindness while watching them interact with other people, not necessarily with you, because I was telling these girls, there are some people who are great at love bombing, but they really show their true colors when they are interacting with people maybe who are in the service industry. You need to remember that too, to model that for your children. When you are somewhere, how do you treat the wait staff? How do you treat people when something doesn't go your way? When you're driving, how do you react when the car pulls out in front of you? Kindness is something that really is caught more than it is taught. Our children are going to learn so much more about kindness from watching us. Would you say you're a kind person? Is that something you're going to be known as when the day comes that you're no longer here? Will your children say that you are kind? Because there are plenty of people who are kind to strangers, but aren't necessarily the kindest in their own home. I'm amazed at how many adults I talk to, homeschooled children that turn into adults, that say that there wasn't a lot of kindness within their home. There were a lot of expectations. There were a lot of yelling, a lot of being put down. Remember, the words you say to your children become their inner thoughts. We can forgive people, but it is so difficult to forget what was said to us. And kind words go so far, whether your children or their love language is words of affirmation or not. When you affirm them, when you say things like, I see how hard you're working on that. Look how long it took you to make your bed, but you did it. Wow. I noticed the way that you helped your sister. I bet that made your sister so happy, because when you talk like that, you're helping them see, what I do matters. What I do impacts other people. And when I am kind, it is noticed. And also, don't you feel better about yourself when you choose kindness? Man, big emotions, right? We have kids that have big emotions. And if they don't learn the coping skills on how to deal with those big emotions, they often erupt. And then what happens shortly thereafter? We erupt. And so if we can just help our kids learn to cope with those big emotions, and in those moments where they want to lash out and they don't want to be kind, and in the moments you want to lash out and you don't want to be kind, that you choose kindness anyway, that's going to make a difference. So here we are in December, and kindness, we think of kindness because we're buying gifts for people. in our family, especially for our close friends. But what about the people who just enter our lives? They're in our life. For example, back to the delivery people. I don't know about your house, but where I live out, I live on a lake and it's in the middle of nowhere. So I have the same delivery people almost every day. The same mailman comes to my house. He brings dog treats to my dogs. Well, he's showing kindness. The same UPS guy, he's showing kindness. And so I was thinking, I need to show kindness back to these guys, not because they show kindness to me, but just because it's a kind thing to do. And this time of year, especially, they're working so hard. And what are some things I can do to show kindness and model that? Model that to my children. Listen, even though my children are grown, from a young age, we tried to show kindness, whether it was volunteering. We volunteered a lot together at a horse farm and the kids were little. We went to this horse farm all the time. I mean, several days a week, and we mucked stalls and we walked horses and we fed horses, and they had other animals there too. And it was lovely to help the kids realize that showing kindness isn't just about showing kindness to people. We're also showing kindness to animals who really can't even ask for it, right? They can't say, "Can you help me out here?" But you see the need. Horses would come in that were malnourished, or there was one time a horse who came in that had been hit by a truck, and my daughter Sarah watched the surgery, and she wanted to be there for this horse. One time I remember there was this young little horse who needed a donkey that needed someone to stay. So we slept at the horse farm with this little young donkey. There was another huge draft horse that was dying, and we spent time with that horse, showing kindness without any expectations of anything in return, right? I think sometimes we unconsciously, we don't mean to subconsciously, but we teach them, hey, I'm going to be kind here and hope I get this back. I'm going to be kind here so that I get this. And really, being kind is just being kind because that's what is right, to show kindness, to show love. And so this time of year, think, who needs some kindness? Who can we show kindness to? Is it the neighbor who is shut in? We have a neighbor, Mr. Billy. He's 83 years old. Mr. Billy does not stay shut in. Mr. Billy is out working and helping people all the time. He is working on people's docks and building fences at 83. But Mr. Billy doesn't have much of a family. He has a brother and a sister and who's older like him, and he takes care of them. But we often he loves banana pudding and he loves apple pie. So one of the ways we show kindness to Mr. Billy is that we try to, when we're making those things, we make extra to take down to Mr. Billy so that he has that too. Little things. It's not something you have to, promote out there. Hey, today we're going to be kind. Let's find 5 people to be kind to. It's when you're in the grocery store and you have a buggy full of groceries, but you're by yourself and you see a mom with 3 little kids screaming, and let her go in front of you. And if you have one child with you, guess what? That one child is going to notice your kindness. That child, you don't even have to say anything. Hey, we're being kind to this mom. We're going to let her go because she has 3 screaming kids and I'm by myself, or I'm just with you, right? And you can wait. But you just show that, you just make it part of your day daily. You take the grocery cart for someone at the parking lot. If you're walking in, grab their cart too. Your kids are watching. Your kids will notice what you're doing. So many times people will say, I mean, I don't have kind kids. They're kind of mean to each other. They say nasty things. They do nasty things. They're trying to figure that out. It's interpersonal relationship skills being developed. So it is okay to say things like, hey, we need to show kindness here. You need to show grace. What can you do to be kind to your brother in this situation? What can you do to be kind to your sister in this situation? What can we do to be kind to that friend down the street? How can we show kindness today? So you can do it intentionally and you can do it as you go. A fun thing to do for December is, again, think about where can we show kindness? One activity that we have as I'm editing the curriculum is we're going to put in 12 days of kindness, to do 12 things in your home. So you write all these different things. Maybe it's make the bed for a sibling. Maybe it's make breakfast. Maybe it's offer a foot rub. Maybe it's take the trash out, do someone's chore. Maybe it's give a compliment. Maybe it's offer to play a game. So you put all these ideas in the jar, and then every day you can pull one out, and then you get to show kindness that way. How do you show kindness? But again, your kids are seeing intentional ways to show kindness, and hopefully they're seeing you show kindness as you go. It is to me, it's one of the most beautiful parts of parenting is that we get to model kindness to others. Hey, listen, be careful the way you talk. Kids are watching who you talk about, what you say about them, especially about yourself. Are you kind to yourself? Do you talk about yourself with kind words? Do you talk about your partner with kind words? Kindness extends to that too, because again, they're hearing the words we say, they're seeing the actions that we have, and they will become like that. Whether you like it or not, the children will take what has been modeled before them and they will replicate it in most situations. That is what research shows, is that yes, as they get older, some might choose to go a different path, but often our children become so much of what they see modeled in the home. And so with kindness, you have to think, how do we model it over and over and over? All you gotta do is, if you're driving in the car, look in the back seat and watch which direction those eyes are going most of the time. They're going straight at you. They're watching you. So what are some other ways that we can intentionally encourage kindness? You can make books about it. Ways to be kind. You can sit down and do a book with your child about it. You can decide, okay, when we go to the grocery store today, one thing I did one time was at Target. It was around Mother's Day. And so I decided I was going to go and buy some Starbucks gift cards. And when I saw mom struggling with her toddlers, as often happens in Target, right? Because there's inevitably a toddler who's having a fit. I went up to him and just said, hey, I know this, you might think I'm crazy, but I'm a mama of a lot of kids. My kids are past the stage, and I want to tell you it passes. And here's a Starbucks on me. Hope it helps. And I literally just walked around and did that. So maybe you decide you're going to do that. I mean, get 4 Target gift cards, Starbucks gift cards. What a fabulous thing to do. In fact, I might go do it this week while I'm out. Do it again because it was so rewarding for me. Show kindness. Maybe if you have the ability to make a meal for someone this week. Now, listen, if you are busy and you have little kids, this isn't necessarily your time to make the meals. Let us older mamas do that. You're trying to feed your own family. You don't feel like you're not being kind because you chose to feed your own family tonight versus somebody else's family. But if you can, if you're making enchiladas and you can make 2 pans just as easy, maybe make a meal for someone to show kindness who just might need a little support right now. One thing you can do is have your kids help you write little notes. Just they can decorate some note cards and you can write inside and send it to people. Maybe someone at a hospital, or maybe it's again a neighbor, maybe it's a delivery person. But having your child involved in that and being intentional and saying, hey, we're going to do this. I remember one Christmas, I gathered the children up and we went to an assisted living home. So funny. A friend of mine volunteered there and she said, hey, do you think the kids would like to come visit? And I said, sure. And I said, I can even have my son bring his guitar. So, I mean, I had a lot of kids, so we looked like a field trip coming in. So we came in and listen, not a singer. If you've ever heard me sing, I love to sing, not very good at it. So they're like, you want to sing some Christmas carols? I'm like, sure. So me and the kids stood around with John Michael playing and we sang. And I'm telling you, people came from everywhere. We probably had 100 people watching as if we were true performers and we had no idea what we were doing. We were just singing and the kids were dancing and it was hilarious. Very unplanned, very unprofessional, full of kindness. We had so many people thank us. The kids loved interacting. It was so fun. What a funny thing to do on a whim, but it was a memory that I know they treasure and I treasure too. So what a great way to work on being kind this month. And let's extend it beyond this month. I know with Christmas, we're all about let's show the kindness, but in January, when it's frigid, most places, unless you're in like New Zealand, then there are going to be some people who probably need some kindness then too. So maybe wait, maybe you make your plan now in December for January and you find some ways to be intentional about being kind with your children. I don't think you'll ever regret kindness. I don't think you'll ever regret being generous. I don't think you'll ever regret modeling that. I know there are times my kids like roll their eyes at me because I'm like, oh, you come on here. One more. What does that matter? We've had people live with us. We've had people show up for weekends. We've had people, all the time. And I'm like, yes, come here. Yes, do this. Yes, I've got that. And listen, there are sometimes I probably should have said no if I'm being honest. But for the most part, it's not something I regret because at the end of the day, when we're gone, kindness is kind of one of the only things that we're going to be remembered for, right? Or not being kind. But how we gave that kindness away, how we showered that kindness on people. So model that for your kids. Be intentional with your kids. And I guarantee you, you're going to have kids that see it, that notice it, that want to be like you. Because kindness does win. It really does. It goes a long way. We used to have a big painting in our old house that said love anyway. It was huge. Love anyway. And I want the kids in my family and yours too to remember that kindness is about love and love is about kindness. And they go hand in hand. And if we want kids who are loving, we need to teach kids to be kind. And if we want kind kids, we need kids who are loving. Hey, I hope that you have an amazing, magical Christmas season. If you have not come up with traditions for your family, I would encourage you to do that. Find something that can be carried on every year. Making Christmas cookies, watching a movie, read Christmas books, sing Christmas songs. Find something that your family can do every year and you carry it on. It's a fabulous way to enjoy this time of year. I hope you have a great one. I'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Thanks for listening.